Keir Starmer's government is walking a tightrope as a political firestorm erupts over plans to slash £5 billion from disability benefits. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, in her highly anticipated spring statement, unveiled measures to rein in spending by tightening eligibility for the Personal Independence Payment, PIP, reducing sickness-related universal credit, and restricting access to support for people under the age of 22. But this move has sparked outrage, not just from opposition parties, but from Labour's own backbenchers. Reports now suggest that nearly 80 Labour MPs are poised to rebel against the cuts when the vote is held on July 1st. That figure comes dangerously close to the 83 needed to erase Starmer's parliamentary majority of 165. At least a dozen senior government officials are threatening to resign if the controversial vote proceeds. The backlash is intensifying by the day, and yet Starmer remains unmoved. Labour whips have issued stern warnings. Rebels will be blacklisted from future ministerial posts. Here's where we ask you, is this the kind of leadership Britain needs? Or is this a betrayal of the most vulnerable? Head over to England. Now 7 and join the debate. Your voice matters. Starmer has already been forced into one U-turn over the winter fuel payment, but this time Reeves has left no room to manoeuvre. The money is already gone. Despite collecting £40 billion in additional tax revenue, Reeves has left herself with just £9.9 billion of fiscal headroom following October's budget. Why? Because she spent over £30 billion more, approved sweeping public sector pay rises without demanding productivity gains, and borrowed a staggering £20.2 billion in April, followed by another £17.7 billion in May. The UK is sliding closer to a fiscal cliff month by month. Meanwhile, the public is demanding answers. Experts from the Institute for Fiscal Studies, FS, and the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, warn that Reeves may be forced to introduce additional tax hikes in October, possibly totaling between £24 and £30 billion. Now, with a £5 billion in disability cuts hanging in the balance, she might have to find even more. Subscribe to England. Now 7 and tell us, do you believe tax rises are inevitable? Or can this government chart a new course without punishing working families? At the heart of this storm is a ballooning disability benefits bill. According to the OBR, spending has already reached £39.1 billion this year and could soar to £58.1 billion by 2028 to 2029. Independent forecasts warn that the total could surpass £100 billion by the end of this parliament, fueled by Britain's worsening physical health and a surge in mental health-related claims from younger adults. But Reeves's economic challenges don't stop there. Her hike to national insurance for employers, from a 13.8% to 15%, has contributed to the loss of 276,000 jobs since October's budget. Critics argue that she handed out generous pay rises in the public sector with no clear strategy for boosting output, leaving taxpayers to foot the bill for inefficiency. The clampdown on non-domiciled residents has triggered another crisis. As high earners and international investors flee the UK, the Treasury risks losing more revenue than it hoped to gain. City AM and The Times report that nearly 10% of non-doms have already left, and the government fears a revenue black hole of up to £34 billion if the exodus continues. Compounding all this is the volatility of global events. Tensions in the Middle East, particularly the Iran-Israel conflict, have pushed Brent crude prices above $76 per barrel. The International Energy Agency has warned that any further disruption to oil supplies could drive inflation up and cripple fragile economies like the UK's. So now the question looms larger than ever. Can Labour survive this crisis of its own making? Can Starmer keep his party united while navigating a collapsing fiscal plan, voter unrest, and global instability? We want to hear from you. Head over to England now. 7. Subscribe and share your thoughts. Will Reeves find the money? Will Starmer cave to rebellion? Or is this the beginning of a financial reckoning that no one can escape? Your opinion shapes the conversation. Let it be heard. Only on England. Now 7.